Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk to you about the rules of serving in squash, as well as some techniques to hit the best serve you can. So you might be wondering why I'm not on court showing this, and actually it's easier to show this on paper. You can see the angles better. You know, here you have like a bird's eye view of the court, and here it's kind of front facing to the front wall. So the main line when you're serving squash is the service line. That's on about halfway up the front wall of the court. It's a red line, and the ball needs to go completely above this line. So unlike in tennis, where hitting the line is in squash you need to have the ball contact completely above the line in order for it to be in. All right. So that's pretty much the only line you need to know on the front of the court. We're looking from the bird's eye view here. So the first thing you need to do is if you're serving from the right hand side. All right. So these are the service boxes over here. So if you're serving from the right-hand side, the ball needs to travel cross-court and land in this box over here within these lines, right? Now the ball, again, can't touch this line, or else the ball is considered out and your opponent gets the point. Same thing when you're serving from the left-hand side, the ball needs to travel diagonally into this box over here, and it can't touch either that line, or else the ball is considered out. Right? I also have X's here where you want to place your feet when you're serving. So one of the rules is that you need to have at least 1 foot inside the service box. So what you want to do is have 1 foot inside and 1 foot outside the service box as close to the tee as possible. All right? Because after you serve, you want to get to the tee over here. You want to position yourself here because this is where you want to be, as much as you can during the match. This is the ideal place to be standing. So both on the right-hand side and the left-hand side, you want 1 foot inside the box, 1 foot out, so you can get to the tee as quickly as possible. So you don't want to be, have 1 foot here and 1 foot here, be glued up against the sidewall on either side, because then you have too far to go to the tee, and potentially your opponent could just hit a winning shot easier off of your serve, right? So that pretty much does it with the rules. So in terms of the technique, I have another diagram that I've drawn here. So again, we have a bird's eye view of the court. And so we have the right and left service boxes. And again, I have X's representing where your feet are. And then I have these dots over here that represent the contact point of the ball, whether you're serving off your forehand or your backhand. So you'll see people, serving in a whole bunch of different ways. But what you often see the pros doing, and what a lot of the good players do, is if you're right-handed off of this side, you'll serve off your backhand, right? So the backhand contact point is here, which I've shown in green. And the green lines is the trajectory of the ball. If you're right-handed and you're hitting with your forehand, right, that's the red line here, and I've shown the trajectory of the ball. So like I mentioned, most of the pros, if they're right-handed, will serve off their backhand. So why is this? Well, the most important thing to see here is the trajectory of the balls, okay? So basically you have the serve coming from the forehand here, and it's contacting the wall where I've put this X over here. So this is ideally where you want your serve to hit the wall, because usually your opponent is going to be standing about here, and you want the ball to contact the wall right where he's about to try to hit it, right? Because you want to have the wall kind of preventing him from hitting a good return. So he'll be scraping the wall, contacting it with his racket. I've actually drawn another X back here. This is if you're hitting something like a lob serve, which is a pretty risky serve to hit, but some people like hitting it, which is a very high serve, which will actually come contact the wall further back here. But we should focus on this X over here. This is where most of the serves are going to be contacting the sidewall. When you're serving with your forehand, the ball comes in at a steeper angle, and then it ricochets off the wall quite far from the sidewall. So what does that mean? It means that your opponent actually has quite a bit of room to hit the ball, right? There's quite a bit of room between the sidewall and where the ball comes off the wall. Also, if he or she tries to hit it before it hits the wall, again, they have more space to hit the ball. However, when you're hitting the ball with your backhand, the ball comes in at a smaller angle and it hugs the side wall closer, right? So before it hits the wall and after it hits the wall, it's closer to the side wall, meaning that your opponent is going to have quite a hard time, hitting a good return because the side wall is getting in his or her way, right? So again, this difference over here is huge. I mean, over here, when you're serving with your backhand, the ball is quite close to the wall. When you switch it to your forehand, the ball sprays out further. So you pretty much just have to reverse this for lefties, right? So if you're a lefty, this would apply on this side of the court. So if you're a lefty serving from here, here you'd be serving with your backhand, and here you'd be serving with your forehand, right? And again, the trajectories would be about the same, right? Serving with your backhand over here would hug the wall closer, and serving with the forehand over here would bounce off further. So it gets a little complicated talking about, lefties and righties and which side we're serving from. But, just understand that the majority of scenarios, I'll focus on right-handers. From this side of the court, you want to serve with your backhand. And then on this side of the court, you can imagine you're turning your body and you want to serve with your forehand on this side. So over here, this will be the contact point for the forehand. This will be the contact point for the backhand. Obviously, you don't want to hit it from there. So you're going to hit it with your forehand from this side, backhand from this side. That's what a lot of the pros do. And the reason is because it hugs the sidewall a lot closer and creates more problems for the opponent to hit a good return. All right? So, and again, the X marks here represent where your feet are. Obviously, if you're serving with your backhand on this side and you're a right-hander, your left foot would be here and your right foot would be here. If you would be serving with your forehand, left foot here, right foot here. But as I mentioned, we want to do it on our backhand on this side. So your left foot would be here and your right foot would be here. And again, one inside the box and one outside the box. So I hope this explained the rules of serving, and also what's the best way of serving and why the pros tend to serve a certain way. All right. So let me know if you have any questions or comments by leaving a comment below. All right. Thanks.